Down that alley to the left or to the right.
Right here.
Right.
Oh,
I'm not seeing any movement on ping.
One guy, dead body, I got him.
nice work. I also dropped one at 200. Nice work.
Thanks for the help, your grill. Let's get back up there.
Hold on, I'm gonna go for the tank. I'll be right back.
Oh,
I've got supplies. Let me know.
This is a shit show.
there's a guy right there behind that.
Alright,
Oh.
you're coming in, make your own.
Pushing out of that doorway I was guarding, so watch it.
All right. We've all had those matches where you just feel like something's off. You feel like you have the drop on somebody, you aim up, you got your chance, you fire, your first shot's a hit, but the guy just doesn't go down. Instead, turns 90 or more degrees and snaps right to your head, and bam, you're done, dead. You think, damn, dude's got to be hacking. There's no way he just did that. Well, they're not hacks. Well, at least not all the time. Welcome to the AIM Training Seminar. In this course, I will show you some of the basic tips for improving your aim and building muscle memory, from being able to pop out from around a corner on target to being under fire and being able to snap 90 to 180 degrees and take your target down. We will also discuss how game servers process information and how to use the netcode to your advantage. These are tools that have helped me for years, and now I'd like to share them with you. All right, my name is 00 Douche. I've been an FPS gamer for well over 20 years. I know, boomer. I was ranked #1 in the world for engineer score in Battlefield 4, and I have over 3,000 hours in Hell Let Loose at this point. I was the original Kickstarter backer and have been playing this game since before it was available on Steam for early access. I'm one of the most experienced squad leads in Hell Let Loose, and today I'm going to show you a few tricks and tips on how to build your muscle memory and hone your skills in any FPS game. We're going to cover your rest and diet, building muscle memory, the netcode advantage. We're going to go over your mouse settings, Windows and in game, and we have a couple aim training exercises for you. We're going to cover what I call the PI exercise. It helps determine your in-game sensitivity and helps you warm up for a game. And we're also going to do a snap flick practice in game. So with no further ado, first we start with diet, proper rest, and posture. Hydration, proper diet, and rest is probably some of the most important tips I can give here. Being well rested, hydrated, and eating healthy are essential for peak level performance. Posture is also important to having good reaction times. If you're slouched or too relaxed in your chair, your reaction times are going to be diminished from this. So make sure you're hydrated, make sure you've eaten properly, make sure you got proper rest. Don't try to stay up for all night long or 24, 48 hours and think you're going to have reaction times that are actually good. So yeah, you need these things. Moving on, muscle memory. Muscle memory is the ability to reproduce a particular movement without conscious thought, acquired as a result of frequent repetition of that movement. Muscle memory is the most important thing that almost no one thinks about. It is the reason why we get better at activities when we practice. Muscle memory is repetition. The more you do things the exact same way, the quicker your muscles remember, and the more it will become second nature or be done unconsciously. Make sure your monitor, your mouse, chair, and keyboard are all in the exact same position every time you sit down to play. If you have them sitting in the exact same spot and you sit in the exact same way every time, it's one less thing you have to worry about, and your muscles can gain memory a lot quicker. Every exercise and tip I give in this tutorial relies on you building your muscle memory. It relies on repetition. And we'll touch briefly here on the netcode advantage. Taken from Wikipedia, netcode is a blanket term most commonly used by gamers relating to networking and online games. often referring to synchronization issues between clients and servers. Players often infer bad netcodes when they encounter connection problems in a game. Some common causes: high latency between server and client, packet loss, network congestion, etc. Unrelated external factors independent of network quality, such as frame rendering time or inconsistent frame rates. We've all been here. We've all been inside the building, holding it down, just waiting, holding that angle inside the building that should give you a clear advantage over anyone that comes into your line of sight. You hear the enemy coming, he comes to the door, you shoot, but your bullets just don't hit. The enemy runs right through the door, guns you down. By all rights, you should have had him. Probably one of the most frustrating feelings in the game, but there's a clear reason why it happened. Because he was moving, most likely running at the time, and you were sitting still, the server is processing the information from the player who is moving first. This is the way servers prioritize input in game. Most of the time, it's not that noticeable. It's close quarters combat is likely where you're going to see the effects. This is why you see usually two experienced players, when they get into a gunfight with each other, they are strafing side to side on each other. And when they engage in close quarters, it kind of throws off the other person's aim, but you moving, they're trying to make sure that their movements are the ones that are counted first by the server. So, I mean, to make sense, I'm not like a programmer. I don't know that much about this. So if somebody in the comment section wants to explain this in better detail, I'm all for that. Please do. I just know that when you're moving, as opposed to sitting still, the server is going to take your input over the person who's sitting still. And that's why that if you're sitting still and somebody's moving, sometimes you shoot them and nothing happens. It's kind of just like a hiccup that it just quite didn't get counted, or somebody else's movements may have got counted at that exact time when your input was attempting to go in. So always want to stay moving, and that's kind of a catch-22 in Hell Let Loose, because this game rewards patience and kind of holding down angles a lot and whatnot. And at distance and whatnot, it's not really a big deal, but at close quarters, yeah, you're going to get maybe that little netcode advantage if you're moving and the other person's not. All right, moving on. All right, and last, aim training exercises. For practice outside of Hell Let Loose, I recommend Aim Labs. It is a free program on Steam. I recommend Scatter Shot, Grid Shot, Spider Shot, and Six Shot. That'll help you work on your flick and target acquisition. And Aim Labs also has great analytics that help you break down and identify weaknesses, and also gives you tips for improving those weaknesses. So for in-game warm-ups, let's head on over to St. Mary Glee, and I'll show you how I warm up in Hell Let Loose. All right. Here we are at St. Mary Glee for the in-game portion of our training. We're going to run over here. And now when you load into a game, first thing you want to do is center yourself. And I'll explain this a little bit better, but you'll look up to a sky, something to where you have no background. I like using the sky because you got like no weird little points for your eye to lock onto and whatnot. And you are going to ADS and just pick that very center point on your screen. You're just going to focus on it for a second. Give it a good 10, 15 seconds, even 20 seconds. Focus on that center point of your post sight on your gun and look directly there. And now for the remainder of your time in game, you never look anywhere but where that front post sight is or would be. And anytime you need to readjust it, you can stop yourself in some cover or behind some concealment when you're not under fire. Boom, look up, make sure you got a clear background, and reset your aim back to your center point. This is very important for the simple reason that you never want to look anywhere that the gun is not pointed. So when you come up to a corner here on the fence line, when I come up, I should be putting my crosshair over the danger zones of where an enemy may pop out on me at. I don't want to come up and be just looking straight ahead and taking my eyes off the center point and having to increase the time it takes me to lock onto a target. Because if I'm not looking at the center point, then I see a target, I look at him, then I look at the center point of my gun, and then I bring the gun over to the person and shoot him. Instead of just seeing the person out of my peripheral and bringing my whole aim right onto him from the start and just firing and ending him right there. So always look at your center point on your target. All right, so once you got that done, you're going to pick a spot. It doesn't have to be this exact spot. I'm just going to pick this one because it's perfect. It's right near me. It's about the size where a person would be, right at this little window. I'm going to lock onto this target. And just like I had back there, I'm going to lock my aim in right here. And now, once I'm far enough back, a good 15 meters or so, I'm going to strafe left and I'm going to strafe right the whole time while keeping my center aim in the center of that window. We never want to take it off. You want to just track and hold that target right there. So during this exercise, if you find yourself overcompensating, like every time you try to move left, you overshoot over the side of the window, something like that, your DPI might be too high. So if that's the case, you go into your settings, we'll get your controls, and you'll turn your sensitivity. I recommend doing both of them, keeping them at the same sensitivity, same percentage. And I recommend if you're overshooting to turn it down a little bit, like 2 to 3% max. I wouldn't go any more than that incrementally. And if you're undershooting, like you try to aim and you're not quite getting to where you want to be, I turn your sensitivity up a couple percent, depending on how far you were undershooting. So right here, you adjust this in a couple percent increments until you're able to move and track this target. And just stay right on that center line of it. So there you go. That is how you set up your DPI for in-game, and how you kind of warm up your tracking. This will help for if you see somebody running, especially at range, and you want to track that target and get that good, boom, one tap off and try to get that headshot or knock them down at range. You'll be able to track the target more efficiently and also not be fighting for your aim. So if you wanted to move just a little bit, like nice little adjustments, you're not overcompensating or undercompensating on those movements. So moving on from there, we're going to practice the snap. You can practice this anywhere on the map while running to an objective, or just on patrol with everybody while you're out doing defense. My advice is, if you're in the middle of a game, just to kind of not fire your weapon so you give away your position and, you know, really piss off your whole squad. But if it's at the beginning of the game, yeah, sure, on the first few targets, whatever, feel free to loose off a few rounds and just kind of warm up real quick. But basically what you want to do is you want to simulate being attacked by an enemy. So we're going to run off here and just say all of a sudden somebody takes shots at me from the left. Bam. Pick a target and put a couple rounds on target, kind of where an enemy would be. They might be off to the side of the tree. They might be down a little low, like down there. They could be like right there, but pick a spot right where an enemy would be and snap to it as fast as you can. Put a couple rounds on that target and just keep going. So you just keep on going, and don't just limit yourself to one target here. So you come in, you start, boom, you start taking a shot from almost behind you, snap, put a couple rounds, you see another guy, put a couple rounds there, and then just keep going. Keep practicing this over and over and over again, even like as far as going behind you. So even like somebody shoots at you from behind, boom. Practice just turning and firing. Don't even like pay attention, just look, just turn, fire, and your mind, if you build up the muscle memory and work on your aim over and over like this, and that muscle memory gets up there, you'll see the target out of your peripherals, and your hand will instinctively draw your mouse right to it. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, where is the target before you fire. Just turn and shoot. Your muscle memory will do the rest as you get better. So, yep, these are the tips and tricks that I have used for years to get better at FPS games and to hone my aim. I want to thank everybody for your time. Hope these tips are as big as help to you as they have been to me. Again, my name is Double O Douche. I look forward to seeing you all in the field. Oh my God. Nah, I just saved.